Okay, you guys, welcome back to mine and Ken's channel. I am Kat. I posted on our Instagram stories a video going over how I went from this, which is kind of hard to see. I'll like pop pictures up on the screen, to this within the span of like a little bit over a year. And I just want to give you guys a little bit of backstory. So Kendra and I, we years ago came into the space, like the social media space, by posting our physical progress, like our strength gains, going through extreme like bulking and cutting phases to gain muscle for a prolonged period of time, usually around like 8 to 10 months, and then going through a cutting phase that usually took about, honestly, like a year total, and then we would reverse diet and kind of repeat that cycle over and over for a couple of years. So that's kind of what we are known for, and things just really hit the fan in our personal lives for both of us. For me personally, I was just like under a lot of stress. I had a lot of things going on. I like posted a video about this a little over a year ago, but I had gained about 50 pounds in the span of 8 months. I just really felt like my life was like falling apart. I had no passion for being in the gym. Matter of fact, it was like pretty triggering for me to go into the gym, to work out, eating healthy. Like I really wanted nothing to do with any of it, and that was kind of just part of my journey. And I feel that in the past it was very much so about just what I look like, hitting my macros to the T every day. It was a very obsessive mindset and just way to go about fitness in general. And I just want to share with you guys things that I have learned through my journey, now being in a very balanced place and feeling on fire for working out again. I'm like excited to work out again, to get into the gym and be lifting, but also incorporating a lot of other things into my day-to-day life that make me feel my best, and not having working out be my only form of self-care. Working out, of course, is like one of the best forms of self-care, but for me it's like also my job. So just like having all of that pressure to like look a certain way, it became like very toxic for a while. But we're back into a good place now, and I just want to share all of my tips and tricks with you guys. When I did post this, I do have like a lot of questions that I did screenshot. Like I have like a good amount that I screenshotted. I'm gonna try to like answer kind of like the most common ones that were asked, but I feel like one of the main things that I will tell people to like have that balance is there's a time and a place for specific goals. For example, if you are someone who is extremely stressed out with your job or just overall life, and you don't feel like mentally all of the best, maybe having the pressure to be in the gym 6 days a week, it probably isn't the best thing for you. So I would say setting sustainable goals based on where you're at in your journey and where you're at in your overall life. So that's gonna be kind of tip number one, is being realistic with yourself and remembering if you are comparing to like other people on social media or even like a past version of yourself, you were in a completely different place there and so many other things were different. You need to be real with yourself, check in with yourself where you are right now, and try to set yourself up with a plan and a program that fits with where you are at currently. So not overwhelming yourself with like super strict physique goals or even nutrition goals, and really just doing like the best that you can. That's like where I was at for a good amount of time. When I was coming back into working out, once I was feeling better mentally and doing therapy, getting my hormones checked, once I had those things all settled, I did feel like I was in a place to be in the gym 2 days a week. I started out very slowly. I was lifting 2 to 3 days a week. I was doing like yoga once a week, and then I was just walking. And then once I felt good there, I was like, okay, like this doesn't seem as overwhelming as it did a couple of months ago. I think I can like up my training days by 1. So now I'm in the gym 3 to 4 days a week. So kind of just starting off slow. We put so much pressure on ourselves to get like quick results, and it can be very unrealistic and very unsustainable. So just taking things slow, go slow to go fast. That's like kind of what I tell myself. Okay, I feel like that's kind of like tip number one. Another thing is also finding movements and finding forms of physical exercise that really do support your hormones, your cortisol. Us as women, like, we are very sensitive to stress and cortisol. So I try to find time, at least one time a day, and yes, I can be better about this, but one time a day where I am like connecting with myself, doing a little bit of breath work, doing meditation, saying some prayers, or I will do some gentle yoga if my body feels like I need that. Like, if I don't have like anxiety, I would say every single day, but days where I do feel very overstimulated and my anxiety is a little bit higher, I try to do things to get out of my head and reconnect with my body, such as like yin yoga. I have a bolster. I'm actually sitting on a bolster, but I have like yoga mats here. I will put on some calming music and just like really reconnect with myself. I feel like these are foundational tools that I now have in my toolbox that I didn't know before. I used to get so stressed out so easily. I was so overwhelmed. I was really mentally all over the place, and things became so much I couldn't even make like simple decisions, and that is like a very just like scary place to be in personally, especially when you just like don't know what's going on, or you don't have answers, or you don't understand why those things are happening. So now knowing those things, they do sound so simple and so mundane, but those are things that have really changed my life, really. So we're gonna jump into some questions, like kind of like more specifically of how I got from this to this in the span of like a year or so. Again, a year, you guys, this didn't happen in 16 weeks. I have been taking things extremely slowly. I am loving myself through this process. I am having fun. All of these things I'm like so proud of, because I did not feel these things throughout my previous fitness journey. It was always trying to like change and be better, and like stemming from a place of like not being enough, or not feeling enough, or not fitting in, or like wanting to be liked and appreciated and valued. So now feeling all of those things internally, which I have learned to do so through therapy and a lot of like childhood healing and working through triggers and all of that, I feel like those are the most important thing. If you're going into a fitness journey from a place of self-hate, I feel like you will learn some discipline there and like how to be consistent, etc. But you will realize once you reach a certain goal, you're still gonna feel the same mentally and in your heart. And that is where I feel like that is kind of a beautiful place to be, because it just opens the door for so much growth and to really look inward. Okay, so question number 1 is, how would you suggest lowering your cortisol? So cortisol, one, is an essential hormone and has a lot of functions in our body that are great, but when you're in a place that you are very heightened for a prolonged period of time and your cortisol is just absolutely, it's going up and up and up, it's in a place where it's not supposed to be for too long, it can definitely wreak havoc on us internally, hormonally, mentally, physically. So things that I did to lower my cortisol is, number 1, get some blood work done. Go to a naturopathic doctor and get a full panel of blood work done. Listen, these things are a little bit pricier and they are not covered by insurance, but I'm telling you, making this investment for yourself can be so transformative and just really getting a better understanding about your body. And I learned that I had a lot of vitamin deficiencies. My cortisol was through the roof. I had like doormat viruses from when I was younger. So all of these things are putting my body under even more stress. Another thing is going to be nutrition. This is huge. Eating in a way that is, everybody is so different. There's not a one size fits all, but eating in a way that is supporting for our hormones, eating enough protein, eating enough like healthy fats, avoiding overly processed foods, avoiding seed oils, things in that nature can be very good for cortisol. We notice that when we eat a lot of like overly processed foods, or like only a shit ton of carbs at one time, like our blood sugar skyrockets, our cortisol goes way up. So just having healthier options and having balanced meals throughout the day, really prioritizing protein is going to be essential for overall hormonal health and keeping our cortisol. Our cortisol naturally rises throughout the day and then it kind of steadies and then it'll lower, but our nutrition and just physical activity can definitely play a huge factor. For me, a huge thing that helps me lower my cortisol and just like bring things back down is meditating. I did already say that. I do use the Calm app. No, this is not sponsored. I love the app. They have like daily meditations that I just do, and it's like pretty random, and then it gives you just good like helpful tips, which I absolutely love. Every time I hear her voice, I'm like, oh, okay, it's time to like relax. Okay, so in reference to the before and after photo, did you go into a calorie deficit first and then train? So when I first got back into lifting and like exercising, I wasn't tracking, I was eating intuitively. I then started loosely tracking, just tracking my protein, kind of realizing too when I was eating it intuitively, I thought I was eating enough protein. I was having my 3 meals a day, some protein snacks. I was still only at around like 80 to 90 grams of protein, which definitely isn't enough for me. So that's where tracking does help me. If my training is increasing in intensity and just like the number of days that I'm lifting a week, I definitely need to make sure I'm eating enough and supporting my body in that way and making sure I'm recovering efficiently, all of that. So I then started tracking my protein, just my protein, and kind of like seeing where my overall calories like landed. And then once I was doing that for maybe a couple of months, I was like, okay, I still feel like I'm not seeing like that much physical progress. So I have now been in a place for like the past like 6 to 8 months where I am tracking more diligently, but I'm still like very balanced. If I go over my calories by a certain amount, like that's totally fine. If I'm feeling more hungry for that day, if I'm a little bit under, like that's totally fine. I'm not gonna force feed myself. I've been there, done that. For me, it like took the joy out of it. I'm not gonna like do that again, but I am tracking. I am currently in a place where I'm trying to build a little bit. So my calories are set at, I actually just upped them again a few days ago because I feel like I was like feeling super hungry kind of like consistently. My training has been pretty intense the past little while, which just feels so good. Like I'm like so excited for lifting again, but my current calories are set at 2,200. But like last night, I'm like went up to 2,400 because I was hit legs yesterday. I was super hungry. So I'm probably around like 2,200 to 2,400 daily on average. So when I did start tracking more diligently, I was set at my maintenance for a little bit. And then I did go into like a mini cut for probably like 6 to 8 weeks. And then I went back up to maintenance. And that's where, after being at maintenance for, I would say even like a month or two, that's when the before and after picture was taken. So just like having like more energy for my workouts. I did start to feel just like tighter overall, which is great, and just like the magic of reverse dieting when you're doing it properly, which is great. Okay, on to the next question. Have you been trying to lift as if you were in a bulk or a recomp during this period? I feel like my goal during this period, when I first got into it, no, I didn't I was just like, okay, do what feels good, get a pump, really focus on mind muscle connection. And then as I got more excited about training, I definitely started just having the mindset of, okay, like we're gonna get stronger, we're focusing on our lifts, we're following a program that is specific for my goals. We're tracking progressive overload in the app that Ken and I have. We have an app called Strive, and you're able to track your progressive overload week to week, see what you did last week, make sure we're just making those improvements. But again, like that is what I was doing the majority of the time. Of course, before I get my period, I honestly am like pretty tired and I feel a little bit weaker, so I'm not gonna push myself. Like I'm gonna, whatever, even if I go down in weight, like that's totally fine. But I have definitely been training, I feel like now extremely hard. Like I just feel like passionate for lifting again, which feels so good. I really didn't ever feel like I would be in this place again, but just in an even healthier and balanced outlook towards it. It just honestly feels really good. It's been such a journey to get here, and like really having a lot of patience with myself, a lot of kindness towards myself, resting a lot. I feel like I've been lifting more so in a recomp way or even bulking way. The only thing is gonna be like, obviously if you're bulking, you're eating more, so you have extra fuel to like push heavier and push harder during your training, and then you're in a calorie surplus, so the extra calories are going to go towards building the muscle. And then a recomp is going to be where your at maintenance calories are a little bit above maintenance, and the little bit of extra calories are going to be doing the same thing, but you're not going to be putting on as much body fat because you're in like a slight surplus and not like a 500 calorie surplus. Okay, next question. How to stay on track with nutrition, specifically protein, when traveling? So what I tell so many people and what I like to stick to is be a little bit prepared. You don't need to be like fully prepared, but definitely bring some like emergency snack options. I absolutely love chomps. You guys know this, and like we're constantly raving about them, but it's such an easy way to get your protein in. They come in little sticks. You can throw them in your suitcase, throw them in your purse, keep them in your car, and I'll have 1 to 2 of these. What I love about these is they're grass-fed, grass-finished, which is absolutely incredible. There's 10 to 12 grams of protein in each stick, and they taste freaking amazing. There's so many flavors. They just came out with a new barbecue flavor, which is so freaking good. I'm pretty sure that one is limited, but it is so good. It has like a subtle smoky flavor to it. If you like anything barbecue flavored, I promise you guys will love these. And I like to, people say that this is so weird, but I like to heat, if I have like access to a microwave when I am traveling. When I'm at home, I 100% do this every single day. Put it in the microwave for 8 to 10 seconds, and I call it a steak dinner. And it literally is so good. It like heats up the fats that are in it, and it is just like so juicy and so good. Please try it, I promise you. But finding little ways to stay on track, like being just a little bit prepared, you guys, it doesn't take much. And also not beating yourself up if you are eating out and like having a few drinks. I feel like that's kind of like inevitable when traveling, but just having balance in the other areas, like going for the walk. If you're up for a workout, going to get a workout in. If you're not up for a workout, that's also totally fine, but just like staying active and staying moving, and then definitely opting for more protein forward meals when eating out and having like a full meal. Okay, did you do workouts off of the app, or did you get a personal coach? So I'm doing all the workouts off of the app, and I feel like something that is so beautiful about the programs that we have on the app is that it really did cater to, we have programs for all different fitness levels, but it really did cater to where I was currently at in my journey. So like coming back to fitness, I was kind of just following things in my head, and then I started writing out like what I was doing and what I was liking, and I built a program around that called Rebuild. That was one of my like, I guess just like transformative moments, is that I was like, oh my gosh, like this feels so good to be in the gym. It's 3 to 4 days of lifting a week, so it's not super intense. It's a great place to start. When you're coming back, you also don't want to be going balls to the walls. You want to basically do like as little as possible to see results, and that's kind of what it is. And it's fun, there's a good balance. So at the time I like was just like training in a way and eating kind of like everything kind of was more intuitive to me, but that was just super helpful. It was a way to like build trust with myself and like understand that I can do this. And another thing, you guys, I feel like my journey back to fitness in a way is kind of broken up into 2 different phases. So like the first phase was kind of like more intuitive, having balance, like really listening to my body. And I feel like now that I'm in a place where I was ready to take things to the next level, I have been more determined and like holding myself accountable and really pushing hard and like having those specific goals again. Of course, with having like also like the balance aspect, but it has been broken up into 2 different phases. At least like that's what it feels like for me. I feel like I kind of keep going back to when I started, because that is what is now and was the foundation for me to be in a place where I can take things more intensely without like losing myself, if that makes sense. Okay, do you think your metabolism was destroyed? How do you rebuild it without blowing up your weight? So before I went through my whole mental health journey, I feel like my metabolism was actually in the best place like it had ever been. I think I was eating around like 2,400 calories and staying like super freaking lean, which is amazing. But that was of course after going through like many bulking, cutting, and reverse dieting phases to really build up my metabolism. I was also like the strongest I ever was, so like of course that plays a factor. I don't think my metabolism was destroyed. I didn't work out for 8 months, so of course like I'm not going to be burning as many calories, if that makes sense. And then my body was just under so much stress that I didn't have energy to do much. I also like before getting back to a place where I did feel like more balanced and I was really working on that, like I did go through a short phase where I was binge eating and also like purging to kind of like distract myself from all of like the things that I was dealing with mentally. Like I didn't know how to cope with my emotions. I wanted to just like push everything away. I didn't want to face them. I didn't know how to face them. So I did go through that little phase, and then after that, like once I started to feel better is when I kind of like was starting to eat more intuitively, but I still wasn't working out. So as you can, I'm sure, like understand, like I was very intense for so long, working out 6 days a week, and then kind of went to like not working out at all and kind of eating whatever I wanted. My body just really did change like completely. And during this time too, I also had like a lot of hormonal issues from all of the stress that I was under. I was just tracking macros and not really paying attention to like micronutrients and eating things that are like nutrient dense. I wasn't taking any vitamins, and most importantly, I didn't know how to manage my stress at all. Like it really just took over like my mental health, and just like there was so many things going on in my personal life. Like I was going through a breakup at the time. I was engaged and going through that kind of period. We're back together now, thank the Lord, but that was like very stressful and very hard for me. There was just like so much going on. I did talk about this in my other video, if you guys like want more information on that and just like everything that I went through and kind of like how I got the help I needed. Okay, what is your form of cardio at the moment and how long? So I try to aim for like 8,000 to 10,000 steps a day. That's like daily. Some days I don't hit that, and that's totally fine. And then I do play soccer every Wednesday, so that is kind of like my cardio moment for the week, if you will. You guys, I'm honestly just not like a huge cardio girl, especially right now. Like the Stairmaster just sounds so awful. Like I'm not getting on, like, why? I don't need to. But of course, for like my like cardiovascular health and also my asthma, like I probably should do a little bit more cardio. What do you guys like to do for cardio? Please comment down below, because I need fun ways to like incorporate it at least another time during the week other than soccer. How do you find a routine that works for you to stay consistent? I would say look at your schedule, see where there's gaps. How many days a week can you get into the gym, and finding a program that suits that, and staying disciplined and staying consistent and holding yourself accountable to those things. I know there's so much other mental things that go into it, but that is like, you guys, that's really it. Like you can do this. I promise you, you're gonna feel better after your workouts, and staying consistent is probably the hardest part, but picturing your why. There's no end goal. Like this is a marathon, and you're gonna feel better each and every day when you are consistent with the small little habits. Drinking your water in the morning, like rehydrating, taking your vitamins, going on a walk, getting your sunshine, going to get your lift in if you're lifting for that day. They really do just compound, and you'll look back months later and be like, wow, like I'm freaking doing it. So just keeping in mind, like this is a lifelong journey that we're on. Keeping just like how you're gonna feel day to day, how you're gonna wake up in the morning, and really moving from a place of like love within you, and you deserve to work out and feel healthy and do those things that are good for your body. How to lose belly fat is all about lifting. So you can't like spot reduce. You can't look at your body and be like, okay, I wanna just lose belly fat, I wanna like lose some cellulite on my legs. You can definitely like work on those areas, but losing belly fat is gonna be a result of losing overall body fat. So I would really work on getting stronger with your lifts, eating enough protein, and staying consistent. And you will notice that your body will start to tighten up when you are consistent with these things, and you can see like amazing physical progress in your tummy. Even for me, like when I had like gained 50 pounds, like I had cellulite on my stomach, I also learned how to love this cellulite on my stomach. I feel like that is like a huge thing too. And you can definitely like see physical improvement when you are focusing on getting stronger in your workouts, eating enough protein, staying consistent, and focus on those things. And I am very hopeful you will see some good physical progress. Okay, what do you think the ideal macros are, even if you're not tracking them personally? So I would definitely try to focus on eating at least like 1 gram of protein per either pound of body weight or per pound of like your goal weight. focus on eating more protein. Everybody's calorie range is gonna be different. Some people are more sedentary, some people like work out extremely hard 6 days a week, some people are sedentary but work out 3 days a week, but they get more like it really all just depends. I would really focus on your protein first and then go from there. If you are experiencing any bloating, what is your go-to to reduce it? So if you're experiencing bloating, again, this is something that is super common, but not necessarily normal. This is kind of a way for your body to tell you that something is wrong. I would go get some blood work done, get some like gut testing done, pay attention to the foods that are inflaming you. I would try to cut out all seed oils, as those are gonna be super inflammatory. Some substitute could be like olive oil, coconut oil, avocado oil, cooking with those things, and really looking on like the back of food labels to make sure that those seed oils aren't in the things that you're eating. I feel like that's a great place to start. Trying your best to stay away from like added sugars and like just overall preservatives. I know it is a lot of information, but if you're having gut issues, I would really just try to like simplify your nutrition and really try to pinpoint like what you feel is inflaming you and stay away maybe from those things for a little bit. It doesn't need to be a forever thing. Like you can, if you have like a food sensitivity, you can definitely reintroduce foods once you do start feeling better and then kind of like build your tolerance back up. But I would recommend getting some professional input and seeing like what they have to say. I know it sounds like a lot, but if you've been really struggling with this for a while, that is something that I would recommend doing. I feel the plateau after starting Orange Theory, gained a ton of muscle, no weight coming off. Okay, so this is something that is super common when it comes to like workout classes. Like you're going super intense, of course you're gonna see an initial spike when it comes to like progress, but then you're gonna plateau and not much is gonna happen. This is what happens when you're doing classes like this. When you're weightlifting, the progress at first is gonna be a little bit slower, but as you're getting stronger and staying consistent and you're hitting your protein, you're gonna see consistent progress. Of course there's gonna be like some small plateaus, but you just keep going and you, I promise, will see like amazing physical progress. Can you show a full day of eating one day that shows all your protein sources? I actually just posted one of these on our YouTube, so you can go back and look at that. I also love to post these on Instagram sometimes, so you can find those there. Our Instagram is KK_FIT_. How tall are you? I'm 5'4". I feel like a little over 5'4". The best way to learn how to make lean meat juicy and flavorful, I would say, oh my gosh, even when I was eating a lot of lean meat, I actually kind of opt towards more fatty meats now just because they have a bigger nutrient profile. You guys, really, I just use like salt and pepper to season, sometimes like smoked paprika, and then finding a good sauce to put over it. I love the Siete Verde sauce to put over it. I used to love putting ketchup on everything, using like a little bit of butter. I feel like it's something that I do now. I'm not the best like cook, but I do love the meals that I eat. I don't know if that's like helpful. Were your workouts full body when lifting 3 days a week? Compound lifts are just what felt right. Looking back, I feel like I was doing a lot of full body when I was lifting 3 days a week. I think I was doing like a full body, but like more lower body focus, and then a full body, more upper body focus, and then another full body, more lower body focused. And then I was doing, I think like maybe just 1 to 2 compound. I think even just 1 compound movement, and then I would do kind of like more like isolating unilateral work when I was kind of like reintroducing myself to the gym and having that like balance. Okay, how much protein do you need? I'm 160 and want to lose 10 pounds. So I would aim for like anywhere from like 130 to 150 grams of protein if I were you. Hi, love y'all's app. I'm new to it, and when should we adjust our macros? So when should you adjust your macros is kind of based on your current goals. So if you feel like you're trying to build and your progress is like kind of stagnant and you're not feeling like as strong as you would like, I would then definitely up them. If you are trying to lose some weight, I would first off make sure you're in a place like metabolically to go into a calorie deficit, and I would lower my calories every like 4 to 6 weeks by like 200 to 300 300 calories. And then once I get to a place where either I can no longer be compliant with those macros, even if I'm not where I want to be at physically, I will start to do a little reverse or bring myself back up to maintenance for a while and then start that process over and drop back down. If I do reach where I want to be physically, I would then slowly reverse diet myself. So I would come up to my new maintenance, because your body does adapt and our maintenance levels are ever changing. But I would come back up to my new maintenance and then slowly reverse from there. I hope this isn't like too overwhelming. I feel like a lot of people kind of like struggle with this and they don't have much guidance. And I know it is scary to like eat more food, and we have been trained in a way where if we eat more, we're gonna get fat or we're gonna gain weight. We just have this like outlook where it is scary, and I totally understand that. I have been there. I have even been there more recently, but you really just have to trust the process, keep working hard, stay consistent, stick to the plan, and you will be so rewarded. And it is so empowering, really. How many days a week do you work out? Are you doing heavy low set or light high set? Okay, so how many days a week do I work out? I'm currently lifting 4 to 5 days a week right now. I'm following our lower body build program in the Strive app, and I am absolutely obsessed. There's a huge variety of rep ranges. It's lower body, full body. You're hitting legs 3 to 4 days a week. Not every single day is a full leg day, so some of them are just trigger sessions incorporated into a full body day, and those are going to be higher rep. It's so good, and it's so different too, and I'm really excited for, I'm currently building another program which is like very glute focused, and that has also like a huge variety of rep ranges. These two programs together, I feel like I had kind of been stuck in the mindset of like only low reps, heavy weight for the longest time. I am still doing that, but I am incorporating a lot more volume into my training sessions. My lower body is just eating this up, and I'm seeing like such amazing progress, which makes me so excited. Do you have much chocolate, sweets, etc.? I can't move past a sweet tooth. Yes, honey, I do. I have a sweet tooth. Like, it's not as crazy as it used to be. I feel like I honestly am more of like a savory craver now. I'm like obsessed with the Siete Chips, but I love Who Kitchen chocolate. I love Honey Mama's like little, it comes in like a little square. Those are really good. And then I also have like popsicles in the fridge all the time. I at least have like one popsicle a day, like no lie. Okay, you guys, I feel like this video is getting kind of long. Are you using creatine? Yes, I'm using creatine every single morning. I do my P-Science creatine, P-Science magnesium, and an LMNT to hydrate my body. Rehydrate my body after I am sleeping. That is an essential part of my morning routine. Ken and I have been taking creatine for years and years and years. There's so many like misconceptions about creatine, but there's also so many amazing studies. It's the #1 studied supplement to work, and so many more people are using it these days, and it makes me so happy to see. It's amazing for overall health, muscle gain, strength, brain function, recovery, mental clarity. I wish it helped with allergies, because my allergies are crazy. How often do you drink, and how much on average? I drink probably like once every 2 weeks. I'll have like maybe 2 to 3 drinks on a weekend if I'm going out. I actually haven't drank in like, I did go to Catalina actually 2 weeks ago, and I had like maybe 4 or 5 drinks for a little girl's day, which was really fun. But I don't typically drink all of that much. Yeah, I would say in what I'm drinking, I used to be like just a tequila soda girl because I like cared so much about the calories, but lately I've just been enjoying my whiskey sours. I'll get a skinny margarita or just a regular margarita. I've been loving whiskey sours though. I did get a gin martini last time I went to NorCal, and it was awful. I did not like it. I was not a fan. How did you combine strength training with yoga / Pilates? I feel like I lose my body goal then. Listen, you guys, if you're lifting like 2 to 3 days a week and hitting your protein, I mentally, sometimes it can feel like if I'm not lifting like 6 days a week, I'm gonna lose my progress. Listen, you're not gonna lose your progress, even though it may feel like that. And I promise you, having that balance of incorporating like a different movement form into your routine is so important for sustainability, but also having that community feel where you're in a class and like working out with other people is just so fun for me, at least. But I would incorporate it by lifting. When I'm lifting 3 to 4 days a week, I would try to incorporate it maybe like 1 to 2 days when I was lifting 3 days a week, and then I would incorporate it just like 1 day a week if I'm lifting 4 days a week. But I would do like 2 days of lifting, 1 day off, Pilates, 1 day of lifting, 1 day off. Listening to your body and finding a time where your body doesn't feel like super sore. Maybe you feel your body needs something a little bit more restorative, and that is an amazing time to incorporate a yoga class in. But also don't guilt trip yourself if you're like not enjoying those things. Like that's also totally fine, you know what I mean? Like I definitely went through a phase where I was absolutely loving yoga. Like I was going like 2 to 3 days a week, freaking loving it. And now I'm like, well, I'm not super inspired to go. I'll go when my body or like my mind feels like it, and that's totally okay. We're not like pressuring ourselves, we're not guilt tripping ourselves. You gotta do what works for you. Recheck in with yourself, recheck in with your goals, and everybody's so different, so definitely like do what works for you. What has helped with anxiety, not just gym anxiety, but in general? Therapy. Firstly, also calming my nervous system, breath work and meditation has been huge for me. Sometimes I don't even know when I'm like super heightened, and then I'll like meditate or do breath work and I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is what it feels like to be just like so chill. Feel like I can do anything, talk to anybody, because I'm just like so in my body and just like so present. But yeah, those are the main thing. I'm honestly not like a huge journal girl. I don't know that I ever will be. I've seen people not be journal people and then they become journal people, and it is like transformative for them. So if you are one of those people, please let me know what you did. But I would say therapy, breath work, and meditation. Breath work, I use the app Open. And then meditation, I use the app Calm. Okay, you guys, I feel like that's gonna wrap up this video. I hope that I like didn't really know what to expect. I like scanned through some of the questions. I really hope that this was insightful for you guys. And like, listen, if you're watching this to this point, like I appreciate that so much, and I really just hope that you guys have been able to find like a little bit of clarity. Be freaking kind to yourself first and foremost. Like give yourself a freaking hug. It's gonna be okay. You are so much more than just your body. You are a soul, you have a heart. There's so many other things that are just as important as exercise, like having a community, having fun, prioritizing play. This was kind of just more specific to like nutrition and exercise, and like how I specifically got there with the things that I did talk about. But prioritize those things too. Like life is meant to be lived. It's not meant to be like being a prisoner to the gym all of the time. And the gym can actually be a very fun and safe place for you. Once you find like the right gym, or you've been consistent for a while and you feel comfortable like working out and lifting and going into the weight room, I was there even like coming back into my fitness journey. I had like just gym anxiety. I had like gained a lot of weight. I was like embarrassed to go into the gym. I also want to talk about just really quickly like my before picture. When I did gain a lot of weight, I was actually doing really well mentally, probably the best that I ever had been doing. And that is just such a statement and testimony to what it means to learn to love and accept yourself like in all stages. I remember looking my best, being my strongest, and feeling so fucking empty inside. Like I promise you, it's not all that, and you really need to work on your internal and just like learn more about yourself to feel good about yourself. And then once you do start seeing the physical progress, it just makes it like that much better, especially already being in a place and coming from a place of self-love. So that's how I'm gonna end the video. I love you guys. Please ask any questions below. Maybe I'll do like a part 2. I know this is kind of like a longer video, and I feel like I did go on some tangents. I hope that I answered all of your questions, but I love you guys. Be patient with yourselves. The hard times get better, I freaking promise you. Hold on to those glimmers that you see daily or even weekly. Hang on to those like happy moments and embrace them. I will see you guys in the next video. Love y'all.